Hello and welcome to the Radiance Quest podcast. I'm your host, Lorraine Brown. Thank you so much for listening and choosing to spend some time with me. I really don't take that lightly. I created this podcast because I believe so many of us are quietly navigating change. We're rebuilding confidence, figuring out who we are now, and trying to make sense of the next chapter of our lives. And sometimes what we need isn't advice or perfection, but real conversations with real people. In this series, you'll hear honest stories. Stories about struggle, growth, starting again, and what's possible when you stop living on autopilot and start listening to yourself. Nothing polished, nothing sugar-coated, just people sharing their experiences in the hope that something resonates with you. My hope is that you will feel less alone, maybe a little inspired and reminded that change is possible at any stage in your life. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the conversations as much as I've enjoyed having them. Me. And
You're very welcome.
I honestly can't believe that I actually have the chance to sit down and chat with the legend that is you.
That's a wee bit of a step too far.
But for anyone that's going to watch this back, you're a native of Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
You're the host of the Fit for Life podcast, isn't it?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
then you run all of the boot camps and online training all across Belfast, and that's absolutely flying for you at the moment.
It is. It is. Yes, it's going really well. And we also have coming up, we are showing at the first ever Northern Ireland Running Show as well. So we've got a stand at the first ever Northern Ireland Running Show, which is the first weekend of February as well, which is going to be huge. It's going to be massive.
Amazing. And then just
Yeah.
talking about your running and the incredible story that you have. So it was what, 5-ish years ago you went from never running in your life and have now run 32 marathons, is it?
32 marathons. I just completed there in June, 7 ultramarathons in 7 days. Yeah, I'm about to run my 14th ultramarathon now on the 14th of March. I'm running 53-mile race between Carrickfergus and Belfast and back again. So yeah.
Just in a day's work.
I bumped into an old friend. I bumped into a friend of mine the other day, and he said to me, like, "Why? Why? Why did you not? Why you just run a marathon?" I said, it's just you just need to challenge yourself, and that's what it is. It's just challenging yourself.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's incredible what you can do when you put your mind to it.
100%, and that's the big thing. Look, we'll talk. We'll probably talk about this in the podcast anyway. But it's 95% up here, and the rest is in the body.
Yeah. And just one of the questions that I had was like, was there ever a specific day or a moment when you looked in the mirror and thought back then, this life isn't for me. I want something more. Was there a rock bottom or something pivotal that made you say, this is enough?
Um, well, geez, going back 12, 13 years ago, where I was battling addiction. I had a serious cocaine addiction, and again, I've spoken about this in podcasts and stuff like that. I had just lost a son. Me and my ex-wife had a son who was born asleep. And yeah, several times I drove down to the edge of Belfast Harbour and seriously considered driving off the edge. I'd done it, in fact, 3 separate nights. I'd done it. And at that point, me and my ex-wife were separated. I was living in the office of our family business, which my parents didn't know I was there, and nobody knew I was there. I was sleeping in the office, getting up in the mornings, going out, picking up the other boys for work, and coming back as if everything was okay. But during the night, I wasn't sleeping. I was in the office. I was taking drugs. I was sitting on my own. I was drinking. And that's the point where it was like, yeah, that was rock bottom. That was rock bottom.
And was there anything that happened that was that's it? This needs to change. That I can't.
Yeah, it was sitting in the car that one night. It was a Thursday night, and I was sitting in the car looking out at the water, and I realized that I do have stuff. I do have something to give and something to give back. And it was that sort of light bulb moment that said, yes, this, I can't do this. I need to change this. And it's one of those ones where I speak to a lot of, like one of my boot campers whose brother is an alcoholic, and I was speaking to her the other day about this. And I said, look, you will never change your brother. You will never change somebody. You'll never change an addict until that addict wants to change themselves. My family had so many times stepped in with me and said, "Oh, you need to stop this. You need to stop this," and you do stop it for a couple of days or a week or maybe 2 weeks. But until you make the decision that you want to stop yourself and you want to help yourself, you're never going to change.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
That is, that is an incredible journey from 12 years ago to where you are now.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. Yeah, it's huge.
And like when you look back over the last, especially over the last couple of years when you've got so much into the running, what's it like when you, in your mind, realize I'm capable of so much more?
It's one of those ones where you don't. It's hard to explain because I speak about this with my friend Gareth, who does a lot of the runs with me and does a lot of the challenges with me as well. And we speak about this all the time. Where at that time where you're struggling, and I mean, especially with ultramarathons, we done one last year where we done the Pennines. It was a 50-mile race across the Pennines, and it was horrible, horrible weather. It was at one point on the second climb on the second mountain that we went up, and the rain was coming in sideways. It was blowing about 70 miles an hour. It was about -2 at the top of the mountain. And I was literally went into a very, very dark place inside my head and said to myself that I can't do this. And I said to Gareth, I can't do this. But you have to, because first of all, there's no other way of getting down from that mountain apart from running. So you say, right, give yourself a kick up the backside. But it's at times like that where you look at where you were and look at where you are right now, and you say to yourself, "Hold on a wee second. This is a run. This all this is run. This is going to be hard for this period of time, and then it'll be finished." And that's the way you have to look at it. You sort of compartmentalize that part of the run and go, right, this is tough. Once we get down to the bottom, we'll get a cup of coffee, we'll get a change of clothes, and we'll go on to the next part of the run. And it's just putting that piece there and going, this is for a short space of time. It's like when you go to the gym or when you have a new client, whenever I have a new client who comes to boot camp, and I have one client there who came for her first ever session and started crying at the end because she couldn't run more than like 10 yards. And she was like, I just can't do this. And I says, this is just hard right now. This is hard right now. But the biggest thing is that you've taken that first step. You've taken that first step to come and help yourself and get yourself fit again. And that's the most important part. The hardest part, it's that old adage where they say the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door. That's, you know what I mean. That's it. You mean once you go through that front door, it's so easy. And I think I was listening to a podcast with Chris Williamson, and I can't remember, Alex Mosey. I think he was talking to, and he talked about fear looking like a lake, and people looking out over a lake and saying, and that's the fear in their mind. But when they take the first step, they realize that the lake's only 2 inches deep and that they can walk across, and that's it. The fear is in your head and what you're looking out across, but it's never as bad as it seems.
Yeah. I say in my house, the hardest lift is the duvet in the morning.
That's true. That's true. It's that once you make that first step out of bed, once you take that first step out of bed, and people say to me all the time, my alarm goes off every morning at 5 o'clock, and people say to me, like, I mean, how do you do it? You must be so, and it's like, you must be so motivated, and it's no, I'm not. If I was motivated, if I was relying on motivation to get me out of bed every day, it would happen once a week.
Yeah.
If it was going to happen once a week, it might happen never. But it's just in your mind, and for me, it's again what you just asked me there previously. It's looking back at where I was and saying to myself, "No, I'm not going back." I mean, for me on the fitness side of things, I remember my partner showed me a video of me and my stepson Leo jumping into a swimming pool in Portugal. I was diving in, and she showed me the video, and I went, that's not me. And she goes, yes, it is. And I says, and I had the dad bod, I had a big spare tire around my middle, and I went, no way, that's not. And that, for me, not after the drugs and all that, there had come through all of that, but then that was the click for me going, right, I need to turn this around. And every single morning, and without fail, every single morning when I go into that bathroom and stand looking at that mirror, I say to myself, the reason you're doing this is that you're not becoming that man. I'm not becoming that man again. I have a son who's 6 years of age, and I've just become a grandfather for the first time at 51 years of age. I'm a very young grandfather. But my eldest daughter has just had a wee baby boy. Shannon's 30, and she's just had a wee baby boy. And I say to myself, I'm going to be around for a long time, and I'm going to be able to run after those children. If you remember that ad, I can't remember what the ad was on TV, the old man lifting the kettlebell, and it was for to lift his daughter up to put the star on top of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of stories that go through my head every day.
Yeah. And it's finding that why,
That's it.
just finding that
That's
why.
it. Yeah.
And funny, my coach asked me, when we started working together, and he keeps asking me every so often. He was like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, it's quite simple. I do not want to be a burden.
Yeah.
I do not want to have to rely on my family to care for me at,
Yeah.
at some stage of my life, and that's why I'm doing this. And I want to live a healthy, happy life, and not it's the simplest way. There's no groundbreaking thing in it, but it means
No.
so much. And
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why I call it. I mean, that's why the boot camp. That's why my sort of brand is called Fit for Life, because I'm not selling a six pack or an eight pack or a shred or anything like that. I'm telling you that if you come to my classes and if you follow my plans and if you get yourself your core strength built up, means that you can carry those shopping bags yourself when you hit 70, whatever it is. It means you can go up the stairs on your own. It means you can get up off the toilet and wipe your own ass. That's the sort of things. That's what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? And it's just very, very simple training techniques and just building up. Again, it's all about the lower body and your quads and your core strength. If you have that sort of core, that's your engine. That's
Mhm.
your engine room. And if you can build that up and get that strength, then you will not be a burden on anybody. You will be
Yeah.
able to look after yourself for as long as it takes.
And it's fine, all well and good, people saying, oh, heart health and all the rest of it, but there's absolutely no point having such a healthy heart and you can't even stand up, or you can't
Exactly.
take two steps to your own bathroom.
Yeah.
People just they don't see the bigger picture and how it's all encompassing. It's all so linked to your future.
It is. It is. And it's one of those ones where I look at myself now and I say I played football all my life. I played Gaelic football, played soccer, I played for a county level and stuff like that there. And but that was all. It was all football training. It was all physical. It was all stamina. It was all cardio. If I knew then what I know now, I would have been lifting weights and building that core strength up a lot earlier than before. But when you're running about in your teens, in your twenties, and you're going out partying, and you can get up on Saturday morning and or get up on a Sunday morning, go and play a match, and you can go out drinking afterwards, and you can get up the next day for work, and you don't have a care in the world. You don't think about later in life.
No.
But it's as you're growing, as you're pushing on and pushing on, pushing on. I mean, the range of people I have from my boot camp go from 30 right up until 65, 66. But it's all people, different shapes, different sizes. A lot of women. There are a lot of women who are going through menopause, who are perimenopause, are just coming into that point in their lives. You know what I mean? And again, that that even for women who don't realize that lifting weights at that age is so important, so important for your both your mental and your physical health.
Absolutely. And once you um once you had started that change in your life, and uh, this sort of has come to mind. Running became your sort of gateway drug, for want of a better word.
Yeah,
What did you see then in your life aside from fitness? What else did you see changed within your, how you showed up at work and your relationships and everything else?
it completely changed so many different parts of my life. First of all, the running side of things for me, again, getting out first thing in the morning, whether it's dark during the winter, whether it's light during the summer, running down through the forest, running beside the river, not only is it for your physical health, it's for your mental health. And not only does it help your mental health, but for me, that early morning run where I can map out what's going to happen for the rest of the day, whether I'm going to have meetings, what I'm doing for the rest of the day, all of that plays through my mind. So it basically sets me up for the full day. Relationship wise, there's a lady downstairs who will tell you that if I don't run, I am a pain in the backside to live with, and if I don't train, I am a pain in the backside to live with, and that again comes from what it gives me on a personal level and on a mental level. But yeah, I have never, these past 5 years, I am now fitter and stronger and healthier than I've ever been at any point in my life. At any point, and I'm talking like I played county football for Down, and even then, when I was training 4 or 5 nights a week, I was never as fit and healthy as I am right now. And it's one of those ones where I always tell clients and stuff like the amount of people who come to my boot camp at 6:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 in the morning, say to me, I'm not a morning person. I don't do mornings. And I went, that's okay. That's fine. Come on a Sunday morning at 8:30, or we've got a Wednesday evening class. They'll come to one class, and then they'll come to the next class, and then they'll come to the next class. And then they'll come to a Wednesday evening class, go, I don't like the evenings. I prefer the mornings now. And it's just one of those ones where it's as you just said, it's like a drug. It just becomes like a drug in your life, and you know that yourself as well because of the journey that you've been on as well, Lorraine, through what over the past few years as well. It's one of those things. It's an addiction, and I follow a guy. I don't know if you've seen him online. Get Better with Chris. He's a guy from Dublin, who's been on an unbelievable journey again through addiction, and he started running 5K every day. And in fact, he's just came to the end of his journey there yesterday. He's decided to stop doing the 5K every day after over a thousand over 1,000 days. But he
Wow.
ran last year. He ran from Mulholland to Maidenhead, the length of Ireland. Then about 3 months later, he ran the length of England from John O'Groats to Land's End. And then just 2 weeks ago, at the start of the year, he was planning to run Mulholland to Mason and back to Mulholland again. Now, he picked up an injury and he couldn't finish it. But he was the same. He says that there's so many people who sent him negative comments saying, "Oh, you've just replaced one addiction with another." What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being addicted to being healthy? What's wrong with being addicted to being looking after your physical and mental health? There is nothing wrong with that. And I've asked myself that question many, many times, going, "Are you just replacing cocaine with running?" And say, "I probably am, but what's wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that? You know what I mean?"
I always, whenever I talk to people, I always talk about before I started my journey, I felt that I was in pain. Now, it wasn't a physical ow pain, but it
Yeah.
felt like a physical pain that never went away. And it was constant. Every second of my life, that feeling of just being so unhappy, it was really was at my lowest point was the worst time of my life. Now a
Uh-huh.
lot of other factors, but I would never want to go back to that.
No.
And if people think that getting up and going to the gym every morning or walking every morning, like yourself, my alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock, I'll take that any day than revert back to the person that I was and how unhappy I was, and as you say, the dark places that takes you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, and it is one of those ones where, and as you went back to it there a wee second ago, where we're talking about how it affects you if you start getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I keep telling the guys at boot camp this, and the guys online as well. If you create one good habit or create that thing that you're going to go to, the knock-on effect in the rest of your life is unbelievable. And there's so many other things that become good habits on the back of that. Because if you're setting your alarm at 5 o'clock to go to boot camp at 6:30, or setting your alarm at 5:30 to go to boot camp at 6:30, you're not sitting up all night scrolling, doom scrolling on your phone, or watching shit on Netflix or whatever it is. And don't get me wrong, we all like a good Netflix series, but I mean, I'm in bed most nights at 9:30, at the latest 10 o'clock. Like, I mean, that's pushing it big time. My problem is that we've got a 13-year-old in the house here who probably stays up later than us now. But it's that one habit that you creates other good habits around it. It's like if you've got boot camp the next morning, you're not going to have that glass of wine the night before. You're not going to go out the night before. You're going to do it. It's just creating those good habits. You know what I mean? And those will continue on through the rest of, not just on the fitness side of things, but in the rest of your day and the rest of your lifestyle as well.
Absolutely. So now tell me about all these challenges. A lot of people will sit here and be like, he's crazy. He's crazy.
Well, look, this started. So my running journey started just before 2000 December in 2019. I signed up. There was a thing called Experiment 26.2, which was run by Belfast City Council and the Belfast City Marathon. And I work for Henderson's, and we were offered a place in it. I applied and I got the place because I'd never ran a marathon before. So the plan was they give you a whole training plan. You went to the decathlon, they give you the shorts, the t-shirt, the trainers, everything was sorted for you. So that was grand. Started the training plan, and then obviously coming up into March, we were at Stormont. We were going for our last long run before one of the last long runs before the marathon, and then of course March 2019. We all know what happened, or 2020. Sorry, we all know what happened. That funny shaped thing that started showing up on our screens and stuff like that there arrived, and the marathon was cancelled. So COVID hit. In that time, my father passed. I was actually on furlough from Henderson's for about 8 weeks, and in that time, Rudy had been born. My son had been born, and then my daddy passed away on the 2nd of June that year. So that was right in the middle of COVID. So, but I got the time to grieve and got the time to spend with Rudy and the family and everything else, which was great, which was grand. Fast forward until November that year, again, I continued on the running, doing all the training and stuff like that there. And I ran my first marathon on a Sunday morning at 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning around Victoria Park. I'd done 27 laps of Victoria Park to do my first marathon distance. And it was my fastest ever marathon. I'd done it in 3 hours, 19 minutes. And there was nobody there. I was running around in the dark. I didn't even know I was going to run a marathon. I was going over there for a run on Sunday morning and just decided to keep going. And that was it. So then, to mark my dad's anniversary, the love for running just continued and continued and continued. And I decided that every year on my dad's anniversary, I would do something for charity and raise money for charity. So I spoke to my mum, and my mum said, like, the Northern Ireland Kidney Patients Association helped us with when your daddy was sick and stuff like that there. So it'd be good to raise money for them. And I said, right, okay. So in June 2021, the first challenge I'd done was I ran 30 half marathons in 30 days. That was the first challenge that I'd done. The following year, I'd done 7 marathons in 7 days. The following year, I'd done a 50-mile ultra marathon, and then a week later, I attempted to run a 100-mile ultra marathon on loops from my house. I got to 75 miles and had to stop. I had to pull out at 75 miles. And it still annoys me to this day, but it's one of those ones. 75 miles isn't bad after running 50 miles a week before. And then we done, what else? What else have we done? I can't even remember. This year we done 7 ultra marathons in 7 days, which was a case of up at 3:15 in the morning, on the road for 4 o'clock, 31 miles around Belfast, and then back home for 9 o'clock and back to work for Henderson's. I was allowed to start at 9:30 because I had something to do before that. But yeah, the challenges are something that not only is it for charity, that's the big part of it for me is the fundraising for charity. I think over the 5 years we've had nearly 30,000 now over 5 years for different. So it's always the Northern Ireland Kidney Patients Association, and then I'm part of the charity committee at Henderson. So we look after the Children's Hospice, PIPS, suicide awareness, um, and the Jack and Jill Foundation down in Dublin. So that's the three charities we look after down there are for there. So it's four different charities, and yeah, it's one of those ones where it's hard to describe. At the time when you're doing it, it's just a case of getting up in the morning, going out and running. Do you know what the hardest part of the 7 ultras in 7 days was? Trying to find a new route every day for running around, because it's very hard to find a route of 31 miles around Belfast where you're not going to keep doubling over yourself. And we did do the same route a couple of times, and we done the last two ones were done. We done the Belfast Marathon route in reverse, added a couple of miles on, and then the last one we done the Belfast. We started Stormont, we done the Belfast Marathon route and added a few miles on as well. But yeah, look, they are not only physical challenges, but they're mental challenges as well. And but again, it's one of those ones where for me, once I put a challenge out there, and once I say that I'm going to start fundraising for money, and people have said to me before, you need to stop pushing. You need to stop pushing yourself here. Like, I mean, I think it was it was the 100 miler where I had to stop at 75 miles, and I actually should have probably stopped at about 55, 60 miles, and I pushed myself on a bit further. But when you know that people have donated to charity because you're going to do this challenge, it's very hard not, it's very hard to give up. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard to give up. If I was doing that and not doing it for charity and was just challenging myself, I'd probably get to 35, 40 miles, and that would be me done. You know what I mean? But when you're raising money for charity, and such charities, they're such close to my family's heart, and other people's hearts as well. Um, yeah, it's some people call it stupid. Some people call it mad. Um, I don't know.
So the big question, you've done marathons, ultra marathons, and everything else. What's the next challenge?
Well, this year, the challenge this year, and the problem is that it's the race actually hasn't come up. So every year there's a race from Belfast to Dublin, and then Dublin to Belfast, which is 104 miles along the old Belfast to Dublin road. So last year it ran from Belfast to Dublin, but they haven't. It usually happens in and around May time, and it hasn't. There's no organisation of it this year. So it's one of those ones where I am going to. My problem is that I've tried the 100 miles twice now. I've got the 75 miles and I've got the 79 miles, but I've always been very close to home. I've been using home as a base for my food, for my clothes change and stuff like that there. And mentally, that's really, really hard when you're pushing yourself beyond physical and mental limits, and you keep passing your front door. Front
Yeah,
door.
the temptation is maybe time to stop now.
Exactly, and especially one of those ones where I usually finish my challenges with a nice cold pint of Guinness, and when I know that Guinness is in that fridge. But this year, the whole thing was, if I'm running from point to point, there's no stopping. You just do it, and you get it done. So I will find another way of running the 100 miles, but the challenge this year is 100 miles. And then I think next year will probably be what I want to get to the point where I can organize maybe a 5K and do it locally, and people come in memory of my dad, and just do a 5K and do it that way, because I'm 51 now. I do plan to be running until I'm in my 80s, but I think if I'm going to run until I'm in my 80s, I need to stop the crazy challenges.
Yeah, stop taking it to the extreme.
Yes, stop taking it to the extreme. But it is one of those ones. Like I said earlier on there, I'm running one on the 14th of March here, which is two marathons. It's a marathon from Carrickfergus Castle to Belfast Castle, up over the mountain, over the trail, and then it's back again. So it's a 53 and a half mile race, and you get to the point where you want to challenge yourself. And I know other people will challenge themselves in different ways. This is just my way of challenging myself. And it's not, it's more of a mental challenge than a physical challenge. I know my body will do it. It's one of those ones with David Goggins is one of those ones where he will say that when your body feels tired, your body's only at 40% capacity. You've still got another 60% to give.
Mm.
And I am a massive believer in that. Your body will do things you will not believe if you push it, but it's your mind that's telling you not to go. Your mind will always, always, always keep you in that comfort zone. Hence why those people don't want to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, because your mind's standing there going, this duvet is so warm and so comfy. I'm not moving anywhere. It's horrible outside. It's pouring down the rain. It's blowing a gale. And yeah, your mind will always, but it's that old thing. It's mind over matter. And that's how you break out of that.
Yeah. But then you had a lot of fantastic friends as well that supported you through all the challenges.
Yes,
Gareth Brown.
Gareth Gareth Brown and Pat Miller as well. And I say the first couple of years, the challenges were nearly done on my own. Most of the first year I done the 30 half marathons in 30 days. Some of the guys joined me for some of the half marathons. But the past couple of years, yeah, Pat. I mean, we done the 7 ultras in 7 days. Pat done 7 marathons in 7 days at the same time as us.
Yeah.
And again, yes, those two boys and I don't want to swear on the podcast, but we have a WhatsApp group called the Three Mad Bastards, and that's that's the group that we're in. And poor Pat's a couple of years older than me, and but the man's a machine, and that's what he's called. He goes to his local gym, and he's called the Machine Miller, and he won't mind me saying that because that's what everybody knows him as. And Pat keeps saying, I'm not running as much this year. I'm not doing as many. I'm going to run shorter distances more often. I'm not doing these big mad distance runs. And 4 days after I signed up for the Belfast and back race, Pat sent a message into the WhatsApp group with a picture of his ticket that he just bought to run. But yes, it's one of those ones, Lorraine, where like that one I done in the Pennines with Gareth with the 50 mile. I wouldn't have came through that without him, and that I can honestly say that I've known Gareth now. I feel like I've known him all my life. Gareth's a lot younger than me. He's nearly 20 years younger than me. I met him. He used to work for Henderson's as well, so I met him. I've been with Henderson's 8 years now, so I met him about 7.5 years ago, and he's became a best friend, and that's through running, through going through everything. And like he's as mad as a bucket of frogs, but you love him to bits, and he gets me through so many challenging times. In fact, the three of us got us through those that last challenge, the 7 days. The three of us all struggled on different days, and the other two got us through it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important, um, especially for men. It's real hard. And I'm not taking anything away from women. I know women have their struggles and their different struggles at different times of their life. But I think for men, especially at this moment in time, they don't reach out for support from their friends. And I went through that. I was at rock bottom, as we spoke about earlier on, where I came very close to the end of my life. And I had very good friends who I didn't reach out to, who didn't know what I was going through, and never knew what I was going through until I spoke to them years after. Um, but yeah, I think it's really important to have people in your life who you can turn to and go, I'm fucking struggling here. You know what I mean? I'm really struggling here, and where they can put their arm around you or just grab you by the scruff of the neck and trail you through that part. You know what I mean?
And I think if you're going to have anyone in your corner, someone like Gareth, like
Oh,
I remember
oh,
seeing you speak at another event and showing photos of Gareth in crazy outfits and all the rest.
well, it's yeah. The mind boggles. The mind boggles. Me and him done at Christmas. We have a wee thing called the Saturday Run Club, where it's just a group of friends who go out on a Saturday and we meet up. It's good banter. It's people from all walks of life and people who when you think about what Northern Ireland has come through in the past, you keep saying 20 years, but it's like the past 40 years, whatever the troubles or whatever you want to call that period of time. Um, People from all different sides of the community, and the banter and the crack that we have on a Saturday morning is unbelievable. And this Saturday is our second birthday, and me and him went out just before Christmas. I had an elf hat on, but Gareth decided to run around Belfast with a turkey on the top of his head, and to say that it didn't really look like a turkey, Lorraine. I'm not going to say any more, but let's say it had a very long neck on it, and yeah, it was bouncing around on the top of his head. But like he loves it. He loves it, and I love him. And it's just yeah, it's he gets you through it.
Brilliant. I'll have to look out for those.
Yes, look out for it. Definitely, there'll probably be pictures at somewhere on my social media.
Yeah. So if there was someone listening now who felt stuck in their life, should it be addiction or maybe something physical or just life in general? Like so many people think that transformation's not for me, it happens to other people. So many people just think that it's not achievable in their life to change their life. What would you say to them? Would you have any advice?
First of all, the first thing I would say to them is like, it doesn't matter what you've thought or what you've seen or read or what you watch. Just scrub all that. Just scrub everything. Every sort of thing that you've seen before about transformations or about changing your life. Just scrub it. This is about you, because every single person is an individual and every single person has a different story and every single person will have a different outcome in their life. But this is about you. And the first thing you spoke about it earlier on about your why and your coach asking your why. It's first of all, it's getting down into that and saying why. First of all, why have you got to this point in your life? And second of all, why do you want to come out of this? That's the two main questions. And if they turn around and go, I want to come out of this because of my family want me to, no, that's not it. This you need to want this, and you need to have a reason deep down in your heart. And it sounds very corny, but that's where it has to come from. And yeah, I again, I can only really sort of tell people about my story and where I came from. Um, and if that helps people take that first step, then that's amazing. But yeah, the first thing would be, why are you where you are right now? There must be, I mean, there's a reason. It's not just happened. There's a reason why you've got into the situation that you're in. So we get into the bottom of that first of all, and then find out the why that you want to get out of. And then it's just one small step at a time. And it's those small consistent actions that will take you to where you want to get. And it's like speaking to people who are on a weight loss journey and who go, I've got 12 kilos, or I've got 18 kilos, or I've got 24 kilos, or I've got three, whatever it is, stones, or whatever it is. I've got this to lose. You're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. What you need to do today is that you need to hit this amount of calories today. That's it. That's all you need to worry about, is what is happening today. It's that old saying, tomorrow's worries take away today's happiness. And you need to just worry about what is happening today. Then tomorrow morning, you wake up, you start again. Then the next day, you wake up and you start again. You take one day at a time. I think so many people struggle with this goal away off in the distance. And it's the same thing with the happiness side of things. People say, oh, I will be happy when I am 12 stone or 10 stone, or I will be happy when I have this job. I'll be happy when, but you're not, because you're happy for a split second and then something else comes as well. So yeah, my advice to anybody is, first of all, you can do this because there's people who are 10 times worse than you who have done it. So get that out of your head that you can't do this. And then second of all, this is just one step at a time. It's one step in front of the other. And don't get me wrong, you will fall back. You will take two steps back, but it's learning not to, I hate this thing of falling off the wagon. There's no such thing as a wagon. You hear these people who go like, oh, I had a Chinese tonight. That's it. It's done. That's it. I may as well have a Sharon bar of dairy milk and a bottle of wine, and that's, you know what I mean. Just forget. It's like, if you got a puncture in your tire, do you burst all the other three tires? You know what I mean? Or what do you do? You fix the puncture and you move on. That's it. So if you've had a bad day, that's fine. You wake up tomorrow morning, we go again, and then you wake up the next day and you go again. It's one single day at a time. Stop focusing on the distance and that goal, because if you look at that goal going, if I'd have turned around like nine years ago or 8 years ago and said to myself, right, you've got 4 or 5 stone, and that was just under 5 stone I lost. I was like, if you said to me, oh, that's what, 30 odd kilos, nah, not happening. No, it's never going to happen. But I started training every day. I started watching what I was eating, and then you see the wins, and that's how it goes. It's one small step at a time.
And I love what you said about, the people are, I'll be happy when. And what they don't realize is they won't. And it's like they're romanticizing the transformation and the end goal. And I know for myself, like I have my big goal, but I have little things that I want to keep checking off along the way. And I can tell you, there is no one standing in my bathroom with a confetti gun when I hit those small targets. And it's just like, well, there we go. That's that one done. you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
you would
Exactly.
not.
That's it.
Yeah, you put this massive figure in your mind. Should it be 2 stone, 5 stone, 10 stone, whatever it is? But when you get to that 10 stone, it actually was never that number was the big thing for you, and it's
No.
not the thing that is going to bring you the happiness.
No, definitely not. It's the journey, and I'm a massive believer in the journey. And it's like, and this is one thing with Gareth, and even when you put this back in the race analogy, and Gareth is always focused on the finish line. He's always focused, going like, see, when we get there, this is our 50 mile. This is what we're doing. I said, Gareth, relax. Like the first ultra we ran together was from Manchester to Liverpool along the canals through. It was a stunning day. It was like 20 degrees. It was beautiful. The crack was brilliant. We were running through countryside that I'd never been that part of the world before, and he's like, "We're so far from the finish line." I'm going, "Would you relax? Just relax." Chatting away to people, chatting to people from Liverpool, chatting to public people from Glenavan and stuff like that. There, it was just enjoying the journey. And then when you got to the finish line and you sat down and you thought back of what you just achieved, then you got a sense of achievement. Got a sense of happiness and joy. But it's that, yeah, enjoy the journey, enjoy the climb. So many people are like, need to get to the top so we can see this. It's like, why are you not looking around you as you're climbing? You know what I mean? Why are you not doing that on the way up?
And you've been through so much. Like it's been an incredible 12 years for you, and what a difference. Is there anything that you look back now and think, oh, that didn't go to plan? It's not how I thought it was going to work out, but it actually turned out to be one of the best things ever?
Um, oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough question. Do you know what? See, starting the fitness business, starting this business and starting this part of this journey in my life, wherever this is gonna take me. I know I've written down exactly where I want this to take me, and I know in my mind's eye exactly exactly where I see this finishing up. But it's so it's so hard. So it is. So we were talking about this at the start of the call, and it is so difficult. But and every day is a challenge, and every day brings a different challenge to you. And say, starting the in person boot camp for me was one of those ones where it was, yeah, it was amazing to start and stand. I mean, I remember standing for the first morning I done boot camp. It was a Sunday morning at 8:30. We were in Shaw's Bridge, and I had some friends. I had my nieces and nephews there to build up a crowd, and I was so nervous, Louis. And I was so nervous, and like, I can stand and do presentations at a conference, or do presentations in front of clients or customers and stuff like that there, no issue whatsoever. I was standing in a field telling people to do exercises, and I was absolutely shitting myself. I was so nervous. But it's one of those ones where it's challenged me every single day. And now that I'm sort of have started to move to the online side of the business, and the in-person boot camp is going really well, and we've changed and are helping so many people and changed so many people's lives. And now we've moved on to online so that we can sort of widen the net of the JM Fitness, the Fit for Life community. And now we're affecting people's lives online who I don't see in person as well. But it is it's one of those ones where it's been that hard a challenge, and there's been days, especially with the online side of things as well, where I've said to myself, this this isn't working. You know what I mean? This isn't growing. This isn't going where I want it to go. But then I look back and go, hold on a wee second, John. You've took you 12 years to get to where you are now in your own journey. This is not just going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things that's gonna change overnight. And again, we talked about this earlier on. Social media is it's such a terrible. It's a wonderful thing in so many ways, but it's a terrible thing in so many ways as well, because I look at so many. I follow a lot of different coaches and life coaches and fitness coaches and stuff like that there, and I look at theirs, and I do what I tell my clients not to do. So I tell my clients not to look at other people's social media, because they're showing you a little snippet of their day. They're showing you the perfect little snippet of their day that they want you to see, and that's not that's you don't see all the shit in the background. You don't see all the crap that's going on in the background the rest of their life. Their life isn't perfect, and yet I get sucked into that with other coaches, because I see other coaches and going, oh, they're doing 6 figures, they're doing 7 figures in a month, they're doing all these different, they're all doing all these different numbers. I'm going to myself, I'm not. This is this. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. It must be me. It must be something that I'm doing wrong, or what is it? But it's not. It's not. It will happen. It will grow. You know what I mean? It will grow. So I've completely come off the subject of the question that you asked me. Sorry, but it's one of those ones where, yeah, it's you just have to, once you start something, it's sticking, it's trying to stick at it and realizing that the success will come.
Yeah, and that's it's all part of the journey. It's all well and good saying this is what I'm going to do and I have this plan, but you need those curveballs and those things to go wrong to take you in a different direction, which is where you need to go.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And it's that one where what the person who succeeds is just somebody who's failed one less time. You know what I mean? So you can fail if you keep failing. You have two options: you either stop or you just keep going. You know what I mean? And it's just a case of learning from. It's the same as on a fitness or a weight loss or a health journey, whatever it is. You just need to keep taking those steps forward. You will get knockbacks, but you keep taking those steps forward. And it's the same with business, same as with this amazing thing. Because I know when send you a message and you said about, oh, I'm gonna take this step, and I go, well, what are you waiting on? And just do the video and release it. And I was like, you were like, yeah, yeah, and then you done it. And look where you are. Look where you are now. You're hosting your first podcast, and it's just taking that step and sort of moving the needle forward. That's all you can do.
And had you not sent me that message that night a few months ago, I'd still be sitting thinking, will I do this? Will I not? I don't know. It might not work out.
And if
it's
it doesn't, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
right.
We
Yeah,
take a right turn and we go somewhere else.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the way it goes.
John, thank you so much. You have been very kind, answering all my questions. I really appreciate it so much.
Lorraine, it's been honestly, this is my first time on a pod. I've had over 30 episodes of my own Fit for Life podcast, and this is my first time being a guest on a podcast. So thank you so much for making this my
You're
first
very
ever podcast experience, and it's been amazing. And look, I just want to say you are doing amazing, and the community that you're trying to build and that you are building is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I'm going to say I wish you the best luck, but I don't wish you the best luck because I know it's going to grow and I know it's going to be a success. So yeah, really well done, really
much.
well done.
Thank
And I will reciprocate the invite. You will be a guest on the Fit for Life podcast very, very soon.
Brilliant. Can't wait. Can't wait. No hard questions now.
See, I'm very good. I share questions beforehand. You don't know wee sneaky one there. You see,
Yeah.
you just kept the question, but it's good. It's actually good because it makes you think on your feet.
Well, that's it. It's all growing.
It is. It is. Thank you so much.
Oh, John, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really, really do. And I will be chatting to you again soon.
Thanks, Lorraine. Have a lovely evening.
Angie, thank
Speak
you.
to you later. Bye bye.